So I recently designed a brand new studio in my basement so I can get professional level videos that look kind of like this. Welcome to the Tattooed Nerd. You want to know how I do it? There's a little trickery involved, so I'm going to show you next. So the first thing I do is set up my key light. This is the main light source that I will use for the videos that I'm going to produce. This is the biggest light that I have. This is an Amaron, believe 150C. And I try to really position it so it's high and out of the way. So I put a big tripod on it so I can adjust it really, really well. What happens when I put it really high and out of the way, it gets out of the glare of the TV, and I'll show you that trick next. So basically I just place it as close as I can and as high as I can, and then I'll do some fine tuning later once I have everything set up. So that's my key light. Next is what I call my fill light. And this sits on the opposite side of my key light and really removes a lot of the shadows that key light causes. Again, I position this as high as I can so it takes away some of the glare from the TV. Next, I set up my camera and my tripod to get ready, obviously, to film what I'm going to do that day. I have to set this up and directly in front of me, obviously, so it gets the TV behind me. I keep talking about the TV, and I'm going to show it to you in one of these videos, I promise. So once I have that set up and straight, I make sure it's all balanced and level. But then I also have a teleprompter. So I want to actually get that lined up and that teleprompter installed. And I just use an iPad and I upload my script to the iPad and I'm ready to rock and roll, I think. Wait, first we have to get rid of that dog toy. Thanks, Bentley. Okay, now we're going to set up what we call the ring light or the backlight. And this sits directly opposite of my key light. And this adds some cool little lighting around my hair and my shoulders, so it really stands out on the screen. Okay, so that's all the lights that I have for the studio. So now let's get to setting up the microphone. So I have a shotgun microphone that sits on a tripod in front of me, and then I use a wireless Rode controller to send the microphone feed to the computer so I can save audio and video separately. So I think that's done. Okay, so here's where kind of the magic happens here is that my background is actually generated on the TV itself. And so from my son's iPad, I'm actually going to AirPlay a background that I designed onto the 85-inch TV that I use as my background. So that's kind of what it looks like. Oh, I guess Nala wanted to make an appearance too, but my background is sort of virtual, sort of real, and that's kind of a little bit of the trickery that I was talking about earlier. So now I have to precisely line up the camera so it frames the entire 85-inch screen perfectly in view so that there's no edges or anything that I have to crop out later. And that's kind of the magic of it is once you have this set, you can kind of leave it. And once it looks like it's all set, you're all good to go because now your background is perfectly framed to your camera lens. Okay, now we need to hook up the wireless Rode microphones to the shotgun mic. And I put a transceiver on one side, and then I put a receiver on the computer side. And now we got to turn them both on so we can test them. Yeah, that one's turning on. And then we'll turn on the transmitter, on this mic. That's turned on. And now we can go back to the receiver mic. Oh, first I got to turn on the MKE microphone battery as well. So let's go check and see if we have microphone and we have sound. Good. We're set up. All right. So here's the Mac I have in front of me as a confidence monitor and also as a way to double check if my lighting and microphone are working at all times. And these are my lights. My key light is on the right. My fill light is on the left. And you can clearly see my monitor and camera right there with my teleprompter. And I think we're set up. Looks good. All right, let's test something. So let's hit record on the camera. That's going to gain our video feed directly to an SD card on the camera. And we're going to hit record on the OBS for video and audio. So we have two copies. And let's just shoot a test. So I'm going to clap here to line up audio and video, and we're going to roll. Welcome to the Tattooed Nerd. And this is the final product. This is how it looks at the end. This is a fake background, sort of. It's a real TV, but I think you get the point. It's all virtual. It's all done with AirPlay on the iPad. And then I project the image on the screen, and then I use the camera, obviously, to film me in front of it once I perfectly framed everything so it looks like a real background. Now you know the secret, though. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour of the studio. I'm Patrick Kelly, the Tattooed Nerd.